Welcome. Yes. Wow. Welcome, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to this live stream. Very happy to be here. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. We'll continue from where we were reading. I was just in the middle of my exercise. We'll continue from number 16. Such a wonderful time. I didn't want to make this process I didn't want to make the process fast, because I did not want to make it quickly. I wanted to take my time to read. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I was just doing my exercises. Just doing my so that we can start reading. Yes, we are. There are a few. They're close to 20 chapters to go in the book of Numbers. It's funny because I wanted to, we have to expand. Wow. My God. If you want your body to heat very quickly, do this. Any questions up to there? It's just a bit. I want to give my warm up so that we can start reading. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, and tell me where you're watching me from. It is 14th of January, and I'm very happy that you are here. Ooh. Wow. Welcome to this stuff that I do for fun. Oh my goodness. Welcome to this stuff. I was just exercising. I want to lose a few kilos. I want to lose a few kgs here and there. And the only way to do that is to it's funny. We're in number 16. It's fun, eh? I want you to enjoy the process. 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 If you're new, if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. We are in number 16, a very interesting part of the scripture. We'll continue reading. There is a temptation to skip some part, but if I were you, I wouldn't, because every part is equally important for our study, right? Every part is equally important for our study. So please kindly, we're going to take our time to read. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yes. Don't worry. These are very interesting piece of exercise. It's about physics, something called Hooke's law. I don't know whether you loved physics when you were in school. You know, the more you try to expand your brain, the funny thing, it wants to come back to its original shape. The more you're trying to do this, the more it's trying to resist. That is a very funny, stuff of physics. The tendency of something to return to its original shape. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. I want us to continue doing our exercises. Very interesting. Don't worry, we'll start. Just building the arms, and the chests and the back, and also it might look like it's easy, but it's not. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? So for us to be able to continue with what we are doing, you come to realize that you need a body in good shape. The body in good shape. Any questions? Let me exercise. Don't want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Can see in just 9 minutes, well, your whole body is heating up. Any questions? It's funny, it's very interesting piece of equipment. In just 10 minutes, you're sweating like water. It's funny. In just 10 minutes, this thing You sweat like water. Yes. Just 10 minutes. 3, 4, 5, 6. Any questions up to there? So take this as daily exercise that we have to do so that we can continue. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe. If you do this, any questions up to there? Just want us to warm the body first before we start, so that when we go, we can read for 1 hour or 2 hours non-stop. I came to realize that even sitting down itself is enough exercise for your back. So it's enough exercise for your back. You know, most people complain of a back problem. You know, for you to have a strong back, you have to sit upright for long hours, right? You have to sit upright for very long hours. Any questions up to there? Yes, you know, it's very cold outside, but came to realize if 1 or 2 exercises, it would be very warm. It would be very warm. Any questions? It's very warm. Some people wondering, hey, it's very cold. But the exercise we are doing here, hey, it is, I don't know, 70s Celsius. Any question? Any questions? Any questions? I want us to warm the body first, so that when we start the run, we'll be fit for what we are supposed to do. Any questions up to there? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Ooh, wonderful. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? We are starting just a minute from now. We first have to warm up, so that when we start, we are good to go. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? You know, I want to tone the body. It was one of my plans. So we have to keep fit and put and exert some pressure. Ooh, wow. Any questions? Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Subscribe and comment. Any questions up to there? We're just exercising here. It's a very interesting piece of equipment. This one here, very, very interesting. You know, if you strengthen your hands, it means that if somebody is behind you, you can pick them up and throw them over. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Any questions? Want us to read? Don't worry, we'll be reading some few minutes from now. But before we read, let's first warm the body. Now, let's continue. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Very wonderful this evening. I can feel my chest doing funny things, but welcome to this channel. You know, I'm doing this for my own fitness. I'm not preparing for anything. Don't say this man wants to beat Kenyans. He wants to beat others. Don't say this man wants to start bullying others. No. So we're starting from number 16. Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and certain Reubenites, Dathan and Abiram, Eliab, and the son of Peleth, became insolent. What is the meaning of insolent? They became insolent. Remember that after the bad report of the spies, they tried going into the promised land. The word used was they became presumptuous. And the meaning of the word presumptuous, it is knowing that whatever you're doing is wrong, but you go ahead and do it anyway. That is, you're presumptuous, or you are a presumptuous sinner. That is the meaning of the word presumptuous. So, according to the Israelites, they felt that the law in its nature is putting them in chains. They preferred rebellion than obedience. All right? So they felt like the laws of Moses were putting them in more chains. They were in chains in Pharaoh, but now when they were given law, they felt that the laws of Moses were chaining them further. So I want you to understand the context of the children of Israel when they left Egypt. They left Egypt from Pharaoh, but now in the Mount Sinai, they were given new laws. So they never really accepted the law as it was. They felt that the law was to put them in chains. All right? So when Moses told them that they will not make it to the promised land except Caleb and Joshua, they said that they would go to Canaan themselves. They said that they were going to go to Canaan whether they liked it, whether Moses liked it or not. Are we together? So, my dear friends, I've given you a very, very interesting summary of what happened before these people grew insolent. They became rebellious in nature. And you know, while I'm streaming this, there's a man in town who is trying to break the record of holding on a tree, for he has now stayed there for 72 hours. I will wake up very early in the morning to go and check whether he's there. He has stayed in that tree for 72 hours. So as I'm streaming this video, that man is there, and I want to go very early in the morning to check whether it's true he's standing there. I want to go and check. So I will be streaming, but my mind, I want to go and check whether that man is there. It's funny, Kenyans. Can imagine somebody holding on to a tree for 72 hours. Wow. So let us continue reading. So these people rose up against Moses. With them were 250 Israelite men, well-known community leaders, who had been appointed members of the council. They came as a group to oppose Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You have gone too far. The whole community is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is with them. Why then do you set yourself above the Lord's assembly?" When Moses heard this, he fell face down. Then he said to Korah and his followers, "In the morning the Lord will show who belongs to him and who is holy, and he will make that person come near him. The man he chooses, he will cause to come near him." Remember here in the book of Numbers, after the spies came, they came and said that the promised land was possessed by the sons of Anak. These were the sons of the giants. They were the ones who were ruling the promised land. So the children of Israel, there was panic. And they told Moses, we cannot go ahead and face, the Canaanites. They wanted to choose a leader to lead them back to Egypt. So here, for the first time in the scripture, there is confrontation, all right? There is confrontation because they were arguing amongst themselves who is right and who is wrong, all right? So let us continue reading. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. You, Korah, and all your followers are to do these take census, and tomorrow put burning coals and incense in them before the Lord. The man the Lord chooses will be the one who is holy. You Levites have gone too far. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me where you're watching me from. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe, tell me, how do you find this channel? Kindly subscribe to it, join us in our challenge, and I know that by the time we are through with reading the scripture, we will be imparted with knowledge. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. This channel is intended to make people to grow in the word. This is not a political channel. This is not a place where people come to share their personal or political views. This is purely a study, and I want us to complete our study in just 60 days. Can we do it in 60 days? I don't know. Somebody is asking me whether we can do it in 60 days. How many days are remaining? Today is 14th. There are 46 days remaining. Somebody is asking me whether we can do it in 60 days. I said, all right. I think we can do it in 60 days. We can do it in 60 days. Any questions? As long as you're fit, as long as you're in it to win, you can put in your work and you can put in your effort, right? And in 60 days, you will have learned something along the way. Let's continue. Any questions up to there? Any questions? Any questions up to there? Moses also said to Korah, now listen, you Levites, isn't it enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the Israelite community and brought you near himself to do the work at the Lord's tabernacle? And to stand before the community and to minister to them? If you're new to this channel, welcome to this stream. I know you guys, trust me, I know we are the year on a very high note. The reason being, once we have gained momentum, then we can relax. But until we gain momentum, I want us to put in a lot of work and a lot of, let's invest so that we can have, during the down times, we can have, we can have something to say. Any questions up to there? So in the beginning of the year, if you are keen to understand, in the beginning of the year, we're going to put in a lot of work so that even if sometime, during, in around May or July, we can relax, all right? But the first few 3 months, we need to go full swing so that we can relax later on. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. He has brought you and all your fellow Levites near himself, but now you are trying to get the priesthood too. It is against the Lord that you and your fellows have banded together. Who is Aaron that you should grumble against him? Then Moses summoned Dathan, and Abiram. These two people were cancerous. They troubled Moses a lot. This man called Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab. But they said, "We will not come." They were summoned and then they will say, "We will not come." Isn't it enough that you have brought us out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? And now you also want to load it over us. Moreover, you haven't brought us into the land flowing with milk and honey, or given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Do you want to treat these men like slaves? No, we will not come. They were called by Moses. They refused. Then Moses became very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not accept their offering. I have not taken so much as a donkey from them, nor have I wronged any of them." Then Moses said to Korah, "You and all your followers to appear before the Lord tomorrow. You and they and Aaron. Each man is to take his censer and put incense in it, 250 censers in all, and present it before the Lord. You and Aaron are to present your censers also." So each of them took his censer, put burning coals and incense in it, and stood with Moses and Aaron at the entrance to the tent of the meeting. When Korah had gathered all his followers in opposition to them at the entrance of the tent of meeting, the glory of the Lord appeared to the entire assembly. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Separate yourselves from this assembly so that I can put an end to them at once." But Moses and Aaron fell down and cried, "O God, the God who gives birth to all living things, will you be angry with the entire assembly when only one man sins?" Any questions up to there? Let's continue with our any questions up to there. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and tell me. So for the first time, Korah, Dathan, and some of these his followers, and Abiram, they were contesting and contending against Moses and Aaron. They said their point of argument was that they did not call Moses to take them from the land, from Egypt. So it was Moses who came. They were happy in Egypt. Now, Moses has not delivered on their promise. They have not yet, they have not gone to the promised land. Now, remember, these were slaves who were slaves in Egypt. Now, when Moses gave them laws, they felt that they are now, slaves now, because the law, according to them, was chaining. It was a prison because they had to follow regulations and etc. So they felt that they were taken from a land of slavery only to be given more laws. Are we together? So they felt, what is the word, insolent or obnoxious towards Moses. Are we together? They were not happy with him because Moses took them from slavery All right? Now, they are free men, in quotes, but the laws that were given to them were chaining them. And so they felt that this new authority, or this new system brought by Moses, was not liberating at all, and they were better off in Egypt than this Canaan. And furthermore, Moses had told them the previous time in Numbers that all those who are 20 years and above, because they grumbled against the Lord, that they would not step into the promised land. So here you can imagine that the ground was boiling over, because now the people who were there, they all knew that they were not going to make it to the promised land, that they were to die in the wilderness. Only 2 people were the ones who were admitted into the promised land. So of course, those who went ahead of themselves without the permission of Moses, they were defeated by the Amalekites. Now here you can imagine the entire assembly of Israelites. There was tension, and there were the emotions were flying all over. Are we together? Because Moses told them the verdict that none of them was to go to the promised land. So you can imagine it was chaotic. They nearly stoned Moses, because how can you tell people that they were to go to the promised land only for them to be told that they would die in the desert? So they felt very angry, and Korah and Dathan started a campaign against Moses. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I'm very happy that when you're moving, don't worry, we'll move in good speed. We'll get there on time. All right? Then the Lord said to Moses, say to the assembly, move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So those 3 people were separated, because now they were angry. They were told, because now these people, from my research, they were more than 40 years old, or more than 40 to 50 years old. Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And here Moses is telling them that the promised land is only available for their children, because they said that their children would be plunder to the Canaanites. Now Moses got up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He warned the assembly, move back from the tents of these wicked men. Do not touch anything belonging to them, or you will be swept away because of all their sins. Remember, here they were told that they would die in the wilderness because of your children will be shepherds here for 40 years, suffering in your unfaithfulness. Now let us continue. So they moved away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, Abiram. Dathan and Abiram had come out and were standing with their wives, children, and little ones at the entrance to their tents. Then the Lord said, this is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things, and that it was not my idea. If these men die a natural death and suffer the fate of all mankind, then the Lord sent me. But if the Lord brings about something totally new, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the realm of the dead, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt. Oh my goodness. As soon as he had finished saying this, the ground under them split apart, and the earth swallowed its mouth, opened its mouth, and swallowed them and their households And all those associated with Korah, together with their possessions, they went down alive to the realm of the dead with everything they owned. Then earth closed over them, and they perished and were all gone from the community. All at their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, the earth is going to swallow us too. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. I'm just doing a few exercises here as we continue reading the word. Any question? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. And the fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. Those 250 men from the scripture, those are the followers of who? The followers of Korah, the followers of Dathan, and all the other guys. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Any questions? Any questions up to there? Huh? Any questions up to there? We're just doing a few exercises here. I love exercising, and I love using my time to exercise. Ooh, man, this is good. Any questions up to there? You know, any questions? Trust me. The only way to survive in Kenya is just to strengthen the weak parts. Because now I'm to be fit. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. And the Lord said to Moses, tell Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, to remove the censers from the charred remains and scatter the coals some distance away. For the censers are holy, the censers of the men who sinned at the cost of their lives. Hammer the censers into sheets to overlay the altar. For they are presented before the Lord and have become holy. Let them be a sign to the Israelites. Any questions? Let's continue. So Eleazar the priest collected the bronze censers brought by those who had been burned to death and had them hammered out to outlay the altar as the Lord directed him through Moses. This was to remind the Israelites that no one except a descendant of Aaron should come to burn incense before the Lord, or he would become like Korah and his followers. Ladies and gentlemen, there are just 38 chapters in the book of Numbers. We'll be reading the book of Numbers, we'll be reading the book of Numbers. We'll be expanding. Any questions? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Trust me. Ooh. Any questions? So the next day, okay. This was to remind the Israelites that no one except a descendant of Aaron should come to burn incense before the Lord, or he would become like Korah and his followers. The next day, the whole Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. "You have killed the Lord's people," they said. But when the assembly gathered in their opposition to Moses and Aaron and turned towards the tent of meeting, suddenly the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron went to the front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, "Get away from this assembly, so that I can put an end to them at once." And they fell face down. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. So every day, my dear brothers and sisters, we'll be reading the word. I want us to cover a few, a few at a time. Be covering a few at a time. Then Moses said to Aaron, "Take your censer and put incense in it, along with the burning coals from the altar, and hurry to the assembly to make atonement for them. Wrath has come out from the Lord. The plague has started." So Aaron did as Moses said and ran to the midst of the assembly. And the plague had already started among the people, but Aaron offered the incense and made atonement for them. He stood between the living and the dead, and the plague stopped. But 14,400 people died from the plague, in addition to those who died because of Korah. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance to the tent of the meeting, for the plague had stopped. So you can imagine, remember, that the idea of the calf, that idea only killed so many people. Now here there's another rebellion started by Korah, Dathan and Abiram, and that rebellion in itself resulted in 14,400 deaths. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. We're in 17. Any questions up to there? The budding of Aaron's staff. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and get 12 staffs from them. One from the leader of each of their ancestral tribes. Write the name of each man on his staff. On the staff of Levi, write Aaron's name. For them must be one staff for the head of each ancestral tribe. Place them in the tent of the meeting in front of the Ark of the Covenant, where I will meet you. The staff belonging to the man I will choose will sprout, and I will rid myself of this constant grumbling against you by the Israelites." So Moses spoke to the Israelites, and their leaders gave them 12 staffs, one for the leader of each of their central tribes, and Aaron's staff was among them. So Moses placed the staffs before the Lord in the tent of the covenant law. The next day, Moses entered the tent and saw that Aaron's staff, which represented the tribe of Levi, had not only sprouted, but had budded, blossomed, and produced almonds. Then Moses brought all the staffs from the Lord's presence to all the Israelites. They looked at them, and each of the leaders took their own staff. The Lord said to Moses, "Put back Aaron's staff in front of the Ark of the Covenant law to be kept as a sign to the rebellious. This will put an end to their grumbling against me, so that they will not die." Moses did just as the Lord commanded them. Then the Israelites said to Moses, we shall die, we have lost, we are all lost. Anyone who even comes near the tabernacle of the Lord will die. Are we all going to die? Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Let us continue. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. Let me warm, bigger warm. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feel good. Let's continue. The duties of priests and Levites, we in Numbers 18. I said that we're going to read a step at a time, and I know that I don't want us to hurry. Okay, we have 60 days. We just have going to finish. The Lord said to Aaron, you, your sons, and your family are to bear the responsibility for offenses connected with the sanctuary, and you and your sons alone are to bear the responsibilities for the offenses connected with the priesthood, Bring your fellow Levites from your ancestral tribe to join you and assist you when you and your sons minister before the tent of the covenant law. They are to be responsible to you and to perform all the duties of the tent, but they must not go near the furnishings of the sanctuary or the altar. Otherwise, both they and you will die. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. We'll be reading, don't worry, we'll just continue to read. They are to join you and be responsible for the care of the tent of meeting, all the work at the tent, and no one else may come near where you are. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me what is new. Tell me your story. Any questions? But only you and your sons may serve as priests in connection with everything at the altar and inside the curtain. I'm giving you the service of the priesthood as a gift. Anyone else who comes near the sanctuary is to be put to death. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. I'll be very happy if you tell me where you're watching me from. Then the Lord said to Aaron, I myself have put you in charge of the offerings presented to me, all the holy offerings. The Israelites give me, I give to you and your sons as your portion, your perpetual share. You are to have the part of the most holy offerings that is kept from the fire, from all the gifts they bring me as most holy offerings, whether grain or sin or guilt offerings. That part belongs to you and your sons. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Eat it as something most holy. Every male shall eat it. You must regard it as holy. This also is yours. Whatever is set aside from the gifts of all the wave offerings of the Israelites, I give this to you and your sons and daughters as your perpetual share. Everyone in your household who is ceremonially clean may eat it. I give you all the finest olive oil and all the finest new wine and grain they give to the Lord as the first fruit of their harvest. All the Lord's first fruits that they bring to the Lord will be yours. Any questions up to there? Everyone in your household who is ceremonially clean may eat it. Any questions? If you are new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Everything in Israel that is devoted to the Lord is yours. The first offering of every womb, both human and animal, that is offered to the Lord is yours. But you must redeem every firstborn son and every firstborn male of unclean animals. Then when they are a month old, you must redeem them at the redemption price, set at 5 shekels of silver according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me, what's up with you? Tell me your story. Tell me your story. Any questions? Any questions? We have just crossed the 1 hour mark. We're going to continue from there. Any questions? Wonderful. I'm very happy. Let us start a new stream. Let's meet there.